I felt like I was just constantly bombarded with people trying to hook me up. And it's weird because I wasn't asking to be hooked up. Like, let's go. Do that. Stop sitting here passively waiting for some knight in shining armor to come down on a white horse. And get up and start doing the things that you've always wanted to do. Hey guys, my name is Dana and welcome back to Dana's Diaries, the place where we talk about faith, hope, love, and everything in between. And I'm back with another Real Talk Thursday video. But just before I get into this video, I'd just like to remind you guys to give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to this channel if you don't want to miss any more videos like these. Alright, let's get right into it. I feel like relationships are idolized in today's society. And I don't mean relationships with friends or with families. I actually feel like we downplay those a lot. But when it comes to relationships with a significant other, it's hugely idolized. I mean, let's take for example, you scroll down Instagram and what are the posts that get the most reactions or the most likes? It's the ones where people are in love, or when someone is being proposed to, or the post of a wedding, or something exciting as that, you know, and it's beautiful, it's awesome. I like those posts as well. But I feel like, specifically speaking, a relationship in marriage is idolized so much, and singleness is kind of downplayed as there's something wrong with you. And that only starts to happen after a certain point. So for me in college, I kind of started to sense the pressure, like especially around, you know, your junior year, close to your senior year, like it's kind of time to like figure out who you're gonna be with. You have to kind of start solidifying your relationship around that time so that by the time you graduate, you have someone that's ready to pop the question a month or two later, and then you could get married a year after you graduate, right? That's kind of like the cycle and the process, at least within the Christian community, and especially if you go to a Christian school and all that, it's kind of like the process of how things work, or the ideal process. And I feel like after I graduated, there were just so many people that were always asking, like, so do you have a boyfriend? So are you in a relationship? Oh my gosh, my son is single. I have this friend. And it was just, I felt like I was just constantly bombarded with people trying to hook me up. And it's weird because I wasn't asking to be hooked up. I just kind of felt like, all right, I'm just in this space. Let me kind of live. Let me kind of chill. And while I don't think they had any bad intentions or they were just trying to pressure me, I just feel like they just genuinely wanted to see me happy. It's like when you like somebody, you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to see you in a relationship. I just want to see you happy. And I believe that while marriage is good, I also believe that there's something about singleness that is seldom discussed, and the fact is that singleness is also a gift. This actually started to click to me when I was reading some of Paul's writing in Corinthians, when he talks about the gift of singleness being a gift from God, because it's that time that you get to focus on God and focus on the things that He needs for you to do. And for me, I felt like I spent so much time just so focused on, oh my gosh, I need to be married, I need to figure this out. But I felt like it just finally clicked for me after reading Paul's writing. When you're single, you're not one, subject to your spouse or subject to children, but you have a lot of free time to actually do and carry out the things that God wants you to do. And there were times I would just sit there like, Lord, where's my husband? Lord, why am I still waiting? And I realized that in the process of waiting, I've been very passive about it. And the more I study waiting, especially biblical waiting, waiting is never a passive thing, it's very active. Take for instance, Moses. He knew that he was supposed to be a leader, but after trying to be the leader on his own and God shut it down, what did he have to do? He waited 40 years. It took him 40 years for him to actually get the position and get to the place where you're like, all right, now it's time to lead the children out of Israel. Within that time, he wasn't just sitting there like, okay, Lord, tell me when to go. It's building character, and that took the activity and the process of waiting, because he had to develop skills, he had to build faith, he had to develop character, he had to become the person that he needed to be that leader. David, for example, the start of his story, we know that David was anointed as king, but what happened during that process of waiting, he killed a giant, ended up in the palace playing music for King Saul, then ended up running for his life for years. And during that time, he battled depression, he battled suicidal ideation, he went through all these different things. And eventually, after all that time of waiting, actively waiting, becoming who he needed to become, he became king. Joseph had the vision that he was going to rule, but during all that process, he ended up in a pit, sold into slavery, ended up in prison for something he didn't even do. Like, he went through so much before he got to that place. But during that entire process, that waiting process was an active process of him developing character, being who he's supposed to be, and standing tall and strong in the person that he was meant to be. So I feel like for me, one day just clicked like, Dana, you're still single. Obviously, the Lord wants you to be single right now. So what do you need to do right now? What do you need to focus on right now? What are the things that you've always wanted to do? Like, really be consistent on and really go hard on. Like, let's go. Do that. Stop sitting here passively waiting for some knight in shining armor to come down on a white horse, and get up and start doing the things that you have the ability to do right now, and you have the freedom to do right now, and you have the time to do right now, because you're not committed to a spouse and you're not committed to 5 kids. You know, like, you have the time and you have the freedom to go ahead and do it. So do it. Do that right now. You know, who do you need to become? Like, seriously, that's a real question to ask. Who do you need to become? Where do you need to grow in discipline? Like, what do you need to build within yourself and build within your character? How do you need to change your mindset? If you have a lot of negative thoughts, what do you need to become to change that? Like, put things into force right now. Waiting is not a passive play. It's very active. Waiting is something that you're going to have to push hard on, that you're not just going to be sitting there like, okay, ooh, and nothing changes within you. The key of patience is developing skills. The reason why we do things over and over and over and over again, and we have the patience to do it over and over and over and over again, is because eventually you're going to develop some skills that you need. For instance, people who run in the Olympics, they don't just sit down and wait and hope like 4 years, I'll just make it in the Olympics and I'll just be running. No, it's 4 years in and out of the gym, of strict diets, of just like going hard every single day. No one sits there for 4 years and go, well, I'm gonna run in the Olympics in 4 years and I'm not gonna really do anything right now. I'm not gonna develop the discipline that I need to develop. I'm just gonna go. No, you go hard. So I feel like, especially with our walk and with our singleness, if you're still in a place of singleness, it's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a gift from God, and you need to utilize that time to focus on God, to focus on what He wants you to be, who He needs you to become, and be that. Be exactly who you're supposed to be, and be exactly who you need to become, so that you can step into the places that God has for you. Singleness is a very active moment of patience and waiting. And whether it's waiting, some people are going to be single for the rest of their life. We know this biblically. But some people, it's just a season of singleness. Do not waste it. It's a beautiful thing. And singleness is as much of a gift from God as marriage is a gift from God. So do not take it lightly. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Dana's Diaries. I appreciate you guys so much, all those who've been supporting this entire time. I also want to note you guys things, so leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And until next time, don't forget that life was not meant to be easy, but you, my friend, you were meant to be great. Singleness is a gift. Yeah.